recorded and will be available afterward for people who were not on the call, or if you want to use it as a reference. And I'm going to go ahead and get my presentation up. Okay, so y'all should be able to see my presentation. And for those of you who, just as a reminder, we're going to be talking about how to use Whova, which is the conference app that we're using to maximize your experience in Portland. And I will take questions at the end of the presentation. If you want to just hang on and just keep your questions or put them in the chat, and I will get to them as soon as I can. Okay, so let's move forward. So today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to do a quick round of introductions. Well, actually, I'll do that in a minute, but we're going to do a quick review and some follow-up questions for exhibitors, specifically because we are approaching a deadline for ordering furniture. I'll introduce the on-site team, and then we'll delve into the app. And I want to share some of the usage from last year's meeting as an indicator of what you might be able to achieve this year if you choose to create your presence for as an exhibitor or a sponsor. And then I'll walk through how you can download the app or access the web app if you haven't already, and then how to very quickly setting up your exhibitor page and sponsor page. There are some links to guides that I will present here, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I just want to show you what a sample page might look like and how you can go about doing that. And then I have a couple other questions we'll talk about. And then I will go into some depth about utilizing lead generation. We've gotten a lot of questions about that. You can use this app as both an exhibitor and a sponsor for lead generation. It's free. There's no cost to it. I don't know that it's the most sophisticated tool. So if you are looking for something more sophisticated, I think you'd be on your own, but this is a free opportunity for you. And I can share some of the reporting that we get. You'll see some of that reporting as I go through the numbers. So, so as a quick review, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to see if I can put two polls into play right now. As you know, we are coming up on the deadline to order furniture is the 24th. So the first thing I want to find out is, has your organization accessed the exhibitor portal? Or is everybody seeing that and able to answer?
Yeah, works for me.
Okay.
Yes, it works.
Great. Great. So 52% of you have had your organization access the exhibitor portal. That is great. For those of you who haven't or don't know, please, if you don't have a link to the exhibitor portal, please email me after this conference call is over or this presentation is over. Or if you don't know, please see if you can find out, because as I said, deadlines are coming up quickly in order for you to order furniture without having extra fees attached. So I guess for those of you who have accessed the exhibitor portal, this next question is for you, which is, have you ordered? So for the 29% of you who have, great job. For those of you who answered no, again, the deadline for early rates is July 24th. So you still have, a week to 10 days to respond and get that furniture and your audio visual such as and electricity in, but I would really try to hit that July 24th date. You know, try to get into that portal as soon as you can and complete your order. The last question I have is around registration. And this is the last poll question for a little bit. But if you've registered, oh, look, so many more of you have registered. That's great. So again, there isn't as much of a time sensitivity around registration, although it does expedite your ability to access Whova, the conference app, as well as when you get on site. So I do highly recommend that if you have not done so already, that you get in touch with Jennifer Childs. And again, if you don't have that information, I can provide it for you if you want to email me after this webinar and presentation, and I will get you the information. So that takes care of our exhibitors. In terms of sponsors, I would ask if you have, most of you, I believe we have all of your logos, which is great. If any of you have new or updated logos, we need those as soon as possible. And then Darlene and Rachel are on the call, and they are with Wyman. Rachel and Darlene, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hi, everybody.
They are going to be reaching out to you about the sponsor benefits for to make sure that we fulfill all your benefits. So please respond as quickly as you can to them when they reach out to you. And that a lot of that it may involve spotlight ads or registration for our VIP reception, etc. So please do respond as soon as you can. And then lastly, again, around registration, a number of you do have complimentary registrations. And I would ask again that you make sure that you work with Jennifer from our staff to get registered. And again, Jennifer Childs is the person to reach out to for that information. And she is great. She will get you registered and answer any of your registration questions. So very quickly, this is our team for Portland that will be on site. And obviously, I'm Pam, so that's a picture of me. Many of you already know me. Several of you may have met Adam Martin, our meeting senior director last year, and he'll obviously be on site in Portland and walking around, so you may see him. And then our Wyman team, Darlene said hello just a few moments ago, but we will also have Jill Andrew and Ryan Waldorf on site. Darlene will be helping as our floor manager, so you will see her on Sunday as you're setting up and through Monday and Tuesday. So she is going to be the person that you can go to if you have any questions. I'll also be floating around, but Darlene will be the key person in terms of being a floor manager. Jill and Ryan will be supporting Darlene, but they will also be helping with the pre-sales for Philadelphia, the conference next year. And we'll have a floor plan ready, and you'll be able to reserve your booth for 2024. Then in terms of from our staff, we also have Jennifer Childs, and I've mentioned her already. She will be at the registration desk, and then Jamie Huxford. Many of you may have been working with Elsie from Fern. Jamie is our account executive, and she will be on site at the conference itself to help. Sorry, just a moment. I just need to fix I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I apologize. My computer is just doing something a little wonky, so. It's always the case when you're doing a webinar, right? Okay. So let me go back to sharing the presentation. There we go. Okay, I apologize. On the current slide, there we go. All right. So that's all the introductory and the good stuff for people that you need to know. So for those of you who have not downloaded the app, the mobile app, you can get it from your Apple Store, Google Play, and you will use the email address that you use to register, which again is why it's important that you get registered. If you have not registered, if you have not registered and you are or you don't intend to register and you're the marketing person on your team and your organization and you're not going to come to the conference, I'm not actually going to put this code in the chat. I'm going to just tell you what it is now. It is not supposed to be widely disseminated, which is why we're trying to kind of keep it close. But you may be asked for a code, and that code is STANTECH2023, and that is capital S as in Sam, T, lowercase t as in Tom, lowercase a as in Apple, lowercase n as in Nancy, lowercase t as in Tom, lowercase e as in elephant, and lowercase c as in Charlie, and then the numbers 2023. That will let you get into the app, and it is also a benefit that if you sponsor the mobile app, you get the code named after you. Just something to keep in mind moving forward. There is also a web app, and the link is on the screen, and that may be something that you might want to use now if you're not in the mobile app to just kind of follow along. But also, if you're going to use lead generation, you do need to download the mobile app. That's the only way it will work. So just as an FYI. So I said that I was going to go through some of the numbers from last year in terms of what we got. We get a report from Whova every year about who has done what with the app, how the engagement has gone. So we have an 80% download rate from last year, and that is actually higher than many other conferences. Whova has indicated, and these are 2022 numbers, that 71% of overall attendees from other conferences downloaded the app. So we do have a higher download rate, which means attendees do use the app. In fact, they are already using the app for a number of things, to set up meetups. I think somebody's interested in doing a meetup to run in the morning, for instance. So people are already using the app. Of the 80% that downloaded it, 99% used the mobile app, while 6% used the web app. And then in terms of engagement, this is really, it shows where the opportunities are. These aren't, the highest of numbers, and I anticipate that the numbers can be higher this year, but you can see the power that the app provides. So there were private meetings set up. About a third to half of the attendees set up personal agendas. There were private messages going back and forth, group chats that were set up, and then attendees were looking at profile views. So exhibitors were looking at profiles, sponsors were looking at profiles, other attendees were looking at profiles. So it really is important to set up your app for success. And then again, in terms of some specific exhibitor and sponsor stats for exhibitors, there were over 16,000 web page views, and that is happening now. So that was for the whole existence of our web page being up. So people are interested in these, in the exhibitor community. They are looking to see who the exhibitors are. And, last year, not a lot of exhibitors used lead generation. So yes, unfortunately, 43 leads generated doesn't seem to be a lot, but it can be a lot higher if you utilize the functionality that exists. So I strongly recommend that you use the tools that we've given you. I know a lot of other exhibitors may use their own lead generation, but you can see that leads were generated. Also, the app tracks visits to your booth, and you can see, for instance, the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety had over 100 visits And then, there were other exhibitors who got visits as well. I get a report that shows all the visits overall. And as that can be useful information, and I shared it with the exhibitors last year. I will share it with exhibitors again this year, so that if you're looking for what your ROI may be, this would be one of many data points in your overall decision about the success of this conference. Again, we can look at sponsors, and with sponsors, they're measured a little bit differently. You still have visits, but you also have impressions. And for those of you who still look at impressions, you can see that, we had nearly 800,000 eyeballs on our sponsor pages. So people are also looking at sponsors and looking at what sponsors are presenting. So I can only stress that as an exhibitor or sponsor, you really do need to create a page on the app. And I believe we are going to be setting that up next. So I am going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I want to switch from this presentation to a web page where I can oh, sorry, there was a comment. I want to switch over so you can start to see what we are doing in terms of how exhibitors and sponsors can set up their page. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, so at this point, I have moved into what is the web page app, and I'm going to get rid of that advertising. And as an admin, I access the app a little bit differently, both the mobile app and the app itself a little bit differently. But for the most part, this is what the general on the web app, what the general exhibitor community pages look like. So you can see there are definitely some exhibitors who have set up their presence and some who haven't. I've gone ahead and created a test page for ITE. And what you can see basically first is you just have this square that comes up. This is a video. If you want to do a demo, you can do that, and then raffles as well. And when you go in and visit your booth, hang on, Randy's going to start talking. Okay, there we go. You can use your, there are, what's the word that I'm looking for? There are tools in there that are self-explanatory that allow you to set up your live demo, set up promotional offers, handouts, as well as a video that allow you to create those pages that other exhibitors have had. I would definitely, in the short term, get your logo up there. And then these are changeable as you would like to have them changed. So you can change out your video, you can change out your add live demos, as well as other information as handouts. You are allowed up to, I believe, 2 handouts. There might be more, but there is a size limit. So that is for exhibitors. And many of you will also be able to access it from the page where you'll be given a, sorry, it's not scrolling down, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to get to where I need to get to, but you'll have a personal link that allows you to get to where you need to get if you to update your exhibitor page. As many exhibitors have updated their page, I strongly recommend that you do so. You can add booth staff as well as one of the things that will come up shortly is the ability, and I believe I only as the admin have the ability to do this, which is, this is where I wanted to get, and I apologize. So you are given a personal link, and the person who is the point person for your exhibit will have this link. The other thing that I have created is something called exhibitor categories. And these are a series of categories that we have used on previous exhibitor applications, and they revolve around your centers of business. So scrolling down, there are more of these. My understanding in talking to other exhibitors is that you don't necessarily see these categories. And so what I'm going to do, and there'll be a poll about this shortly, is I tend to think that as an attendee, it may be of more interest to them to find out what categories you have placed yourselves in, and then they can find you more easily rather than me just listing exhibitors alphabetically or by size of booth. So what I will do is I'm going to create a short survey that I'm going to send out to the exhibitors, and you can let me know which categories you want to be in, and I will add those to your profile. I will add them so that we can separate you by there. Svetlana, you had a question?
Yes, hello, Pam. Thank you. First of all, thank you a lot for this presentation. Great information we are hearing here. I wanted to ask that, so basically we will use mostly mobile app, but to set up our company page and exhibitor page, we have to do that through the web app. Is that correct?
You can do it either way. It's only lead generation that you have to use the mobile app.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let me just stop sharing for a second, and I'm going to put that last poll into play, which asks about how we should list exhibitors, because we do want to make it most effective for you. So please let me know how you would like that done. All right. Well, I guess it's overwhelming. So like I said, I will get a survey out to you all, and we will go ahead and get your company listed by category. Oh, wait, nope. There are some people that want to be alphabetical by last name, or by organization name, excuse me. Huh. All right. Well, we will take all right. Well, I think we're still going to try to go category by last name, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Maybe we'll have a short conversation about how to make that work the best for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and close that poll and go back and just talk about sponsors, because essentially for sponsors, it's the same setup. And I didn't do a lot of setting up on the sponsor page just so that you could see what the tools are. And then you can see that I've set up a test as well as put in a company video. So there are different things that sponsor companies have access to than exhibitors. But if you are both an exhibitor and a sponsor, they will sync information, so you don't necessarily have to add it twice. But there's some really great information. And again, I would make sure that your marketing team or your sales team is filling out both the exhibitor and sponsor page to make sure that you're maximizing your presence on site, because as I said, we do have a number of people who will be using the app. All right, before I go into lead generation, I'm just going to see if there are any quick questions I can answer. If you just want to raise your hand. Nope, okay. I think everybody wants to see the lead generation. Actually, I'm going lead generation information. So in order to do that, I'm going to go back to my presentation. And really, because it is through the mobile app, I had to take screenshots. So hopefully it this works for you. Just very quickly before I go to the lead generation, here are the links to some helpful guides. I know I went over everything very quickly. And if you want to spend a little bit more time educating yourself on how to best set up your page, Whova has provided some helpful guides on all of these. They're not long. I would say they're no more than 20 minutes long. Andrew, you had a question? Andrew, you may need to unmute yourself. Okay, I'm just going to go forward. Okay,
Yeah.
so in terms of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You're
not
you
sharing
need
your
to share
screen.
your
Oh.
screen. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I always forget to do this. There we go. All right, let me go back. Thank you so much. There we go. All right, here are the links to the helpful guides that I just talked about, but you guys couldn't see. Like I said, this is being recorded, so you'll be able to get these links. You don't need to worry about copying them down. All right, let me move on to lead generation. Right, so if you are in the app, on your homepage of the app, you'll be able to see something called collect leads and contacts. That is the lead generation area that you want to get into. And from there, you will have two opportunities to collect leads. You can either scan the attendee's QR code, and I will go through that and how to find that in just a second, or record contacts manually. So the last image on here is what the manual entry looks like. And as I said, this is not as robust as some other lead generation tools. You can add notes, you can add whether it's a hot or warm or cold lead, but it doesn't, you cannot program other questions into it. It's very basic. If you're looking to just scan a QR code, and the QR code, the information will be based on what the attendee has in their profile. It will have at least their name and email address, but they may or may not choose to fill out other information. But you will find that by finding the this little initial up in the left-hand corner, and then my contact information. And I'm sharing this with you because not all attendees are going to know how to find their QR code, and you will actually have to ask them to get to their QR codes. We're not printing QR codes on badges this year. We've had problems in the past. They don't always print well. So we just figure that this is the best way for you to get the QR codes. Plus, then you know they're opting in. And with a lot of the CAN spam and the European laws around reaching out to people, at least you'll know that they have agreed to get information because you're going through this process. And then from there, you can just, you can see where their QR code pops up. And you can actually go a step farther so that it shows up. So it's easier for you to scan it. Once you have a good number of leads, you can export them. So you'll get your leads and they'll show up. I used my sister as an example. I manually entered her information. So all the information will show up here. You can export it. And it exports in two ways. Number one, the person who you collected information from will receive an email indicating that you collected their info. So again, it gives that it's a permission-based system. And unfortunately, I'm really sorry, I could not make this any bigger. But you will also receive, you personally will receive an email, or the person that is designated will receive an email that has the contact information. So all that information does export down. And again, I'm sorry, I tried to blow it up and it just didn't work. But I did want to show that you can export the information and you will get it via email. With that, my presentation is done. I appreciate your patience. I'm not always the greatest presenter in the world, but I did want to have this webinar to kind of help you manage the app process, because I think that will hopefully encourage more of you to use it. So we will go into questions now. And Nancy, I think I saw your hand raised first, so go ahead.
Yes, hi Pam. Thank you so much for the presentation. This is super helpful. My question is, when you just shared your screen to show where you can scan leads, on my app I see find your booth. Is this because I still did not select the booth that I will be exhibiting at, and then after that I should receive or see whatever you shared?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, and if you have any other questions like that, if you haven't set up your information yet, you can reach out to me afterward. Darlene and I will also, like I said, will be on site, and Darlene has admin rights to the Whova app, as do I, and we will be walking around. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to grab us and we'll help you walk through it.
And you mentioned something about adding booth staff on the app. Where do we go to that? Or is this something that Dana can do since she's the main contact on it?
Dana will be able to do that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, and once she sets you up, Nancy, you should be able to do lead generation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Are there other questions? Lillian? Go ahead.
Hi, quick question. Okay, so I'm currently on the app and I have a bunch of booth members, some of which I was able to add onto the app, but the other ones are saying that they're not listed. And then it has myself listed twice under two different titles. I'm just the marketing events coordinator, so I won't actually be there, but I have a good, I believe about a good 10 people that will be there, and I did pay the invoice, so I'm not sure how I would list them.
Okay, so you're the contact and you should be able to add booth members, and they're all registered. If I will reach out to you afterward and make sure that we have all of you listed as
Okay.
being registered, and then work with you to make sure that they're all added.
Okay, yeah, because I managed to get a couple of them, but the other, I'm missing like 5 of them, and it's just saying that their emails are not registered in the system.
Okay, so that may just be that. When did you pay that invoice?
I paid it on the 6th.
Okay, it should be. I will check with Jennifer afterward.
Okay.
But the early bird registration was the 23rd, and we were inundated with registration, so we're working through them as quickly as we can.
Right.
So I will just check with her on
Okay.
the rest of your team.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I appreciate your patience. Nancy, did you have another question, or is your hand just raised?
Sorry, it's still raised.
Okay, that's fine. Other questions? Okay, hey Darlene, while there's a pause, while people are thinking about their questions, is there anything as the floor manager and our account manager with Wyman that you would like to remind people or make any points that I may have forgotten?
I just want to say that as far as the exhibit booths go, we are doing some, not many changes, but a few changes to the floor plan, and the exhibitors that know that their booth numbers are changing have been contacted. But I'm going to be going through Whova, all of the exhibitors, and just double checking that the booth number is correct in there so that we have all of that done and accurate, because I know that the advanced shipping date is opening up this week. So I want to make sure that you all have the most accurate booth number information to include on your shipping for materials. And if anything comes up, I'm always happy to help. I know that Fern has contact information for one person per exhibit booth. So it's really the main contact who's getting that link from Fern. So if you've got any questions, try to reach out to that person who would have that information, because they can add other people to the portal. And that's the main way that you're going to order any kind of supplies for your booth, such as carpet and anything else. So just let me know if you need anything. I'm happy to help.
Great. Thank you, Darlene. So I have gone over to the chat. And there are some questions that I know Darlene answered some of them, but I thought it might be helpful if I read them out loud for everybody. So the exhibitor portal is the same as the information you received from Fern. Yes, so everybody should have received a link from Fern to the exhibitor portal, which will have information about shipping, furniture, and electricity, as well as audiovisual. In addition, let's see. So I know there's been some questions about people being able to access the app. But yes, you do need to be registered. You need to have that, whether or not you do need to be registered to access the app or the code. And I know it says somebody is indicating that they say the password doesn't match. So the password is something that you set up on Whova. So you set up an email address as well as a password. The Stantec 2023 is the access code that they may ask you for. And that is usually for people such as Lillian, who will not be attending the conference, but need access to the app to set up their booth. And then, yes, so for the app itself, you do look for, there's a question about what you look for when you go to the Apple Store or Google Play, and it is not ITEPortland 2023. That is the nickname that I use, so I don't always write out the joint ITE International and Western District Annual Meeting and Exhibition, which is what you do need to look for in the Google Play and Apple password. So I'm just going to put that in the chat if you need that. Any other questions? All right, great. Well, I will go ahead and give you back 20 minutes of your day. Again, feel free to reach out to me directly. All of you should have my email at this point. It was on the calendar, planner that I sent around. So feel free to reach out to me. I will answer questions as quickly as I can. And if you have any problems with your app, please feel free to reach out to me as well. Thank you, and I will see you all in Portland in just about 4 weeks. Oh, you know what? One thing before I let you go, I am leaving on vacation next week, but feel free to email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Pam.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Pam. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. You're very welcome.